They call me Dan, the Lakers fan. And I got a master plan for the Lakers back to the promised land. Spread the vision through my people, cause we fans are equal. When we reach 20K subs, yeah, we gon' drop a sequel. Another Laker anthem track, watch me run it back. Got the keys to the city where my Laker jet.
Good morning and good afternoon to East Coast Laker family. It's your boy DTLF back with another one. Wanted to give you guys quick updates on the Lakers and, the news that broke today. That might have some people disgruntled. Some of us really don't care because we'll talk about why. But Jeanie Buss is expected to remain Lakers governor for the next 5 years per Sam Amick. Okay, 5 years. It says the Lakers, who were sold for a whopping $10 billion evaluation to the Dodgers owner, Mark Walter, recently will still be run by longtime owner Jeanie Buss for quite some time to come. Per team source, Buss's agreement with Walter in the NBA stipulates that she'll remain the team governor for at least, keyword, at least the next 5 seasons. Okay, so she's able to work that in there. I know, again, a lot of people won't be happy about it. Yo, what up, fam? How y'all doing? Good to see you all. What up, Solo? Kimmy, go. JoJo. 5 years, y'all. 5 years. Now, I'm going to tell you guys why you shouldn't really panic, per se, because to me, this is all a front. This is all a front. Okay? It says here, Buss was able to negotiate a deal to keep her in power for the time being. The expectation was that Walter would begin to implement changes sooner than later. That's the key right there. But he is seemingly patient enough to allow Buss to transition out on her own time. It says here, Jeanie has historically not been too involved with personnel decisions, so this shouldn't affect roster building. However, it'll still be interesting to see how things shake out. So essentially what this is, guys, is, okay, you know what? She still wants to be around the team for the next five years. She still wants to have a say in it. Sounds to me like Mark Walter's still going to be calling the shots, right? However, Jeanie will be still the face of the Lakers for the time being, for the next 4 to 5 years, right? Minimal. So, yeah, this is very interesting for sure. The sale will be completed around December, but Jeanie is still going to be the face for the time being, for the next 5 years or so. I love Jeanie. I got no problem with Jeanie at all. I love the fact that she still wants to be involved with the Lakers. She doesn't want to let go. But essentially, that is what it is. She doesn't want to let go. And Mark Walter will still be calling the shots, but he's kind of going to be like a shadow guy in the background calling these shots. I'm curious to see if he'll be at the press conferences whenever we sign and trade players and all of that. But again, just interesting, man. Interesting how this Laker thing is shaking out and the dynamics between LeBron and the Lakers. I'll talk a little bit more about that. What up, fam? How's it going, man? Good to see you. D Free says as long as she's not footing the bell, this is fine. Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm trying to tell people, because I've seen a lot of people panic on Twitter, people hitting my DMs. Go live now. She's still going to, they're panicking. But the thing is, she's essentially the face, right? She's essentially the Mickey Mouse, not the Walter Disney, right? If that makes sense as an analogy. Mickey Mouse just a, face of Disney, but he's not the main attraction, right? He's not running Disney. He's just the face. So essentially, she'll be the face. She'll give face. She'll have, she'll have her say in minor decisions. I don't think she'll have her say in major decisions. I don't think anybody spending $10 billion is going to allow, a minority owner to call the shots. Still, she'll be the face of the Lakers, but she won't be. I guess she won't be the main person calling the shots anymore. My problem isn't Jeanie, it's Rob. You know what, Solo? You might have a solution. There might be a solution to that problem soon. All right, because he hasn't been very involved at all. That's not a good thing for him or for anybody. Anything drastic will need his approval, but she's basically the face GM, which is interesting. Yeah, again, she is the Mickey Mouse of Disney World, right? And not to compare the great Jeanie with a mouse, but Mickey Mouse is a beloved figure in the community, right? And so, Mark Walter will be the Walt Disney of the company. He will be calling the shots in the behind the scenes. You don't see him when you enter Disneyland, though. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. We will see Jeanie at games like we usually do, man. I once saw her pass right in front of me, and I wanted to say something, but at the same time, I don't want to bother her. So She passed right in front of me. Was lucky enough to get really close to courtside. Shout out to Mookie for those tickets. And that was a surreal experience. You know, you get to see Jeanie, you get to see Rob, you know, the players coming up the tunnel, all this cool, awesome stuff. So, again, she will be the face of the Lakers moving forward, but she won't be calling the main shot. She won't be writing the checks and all of that good stuff, if that makes sense to you guys, right? And I'm glad some of you guys are understanding. That's fine. I'm good with it. You love to see that, right? I love to see that. That's some really good, you know, some really good fan service right there. My guy said, Dan, estamos muy tranquilos porque no hacemos un trade. My guy asked, why are we so calm and not making a trade? I think that's a question, my guy, that absolutely begs for an answer. But as of right now, again, we know Rob Pelinka, for the most part, has operated in the shadows. Right now, he's a part of the Shadow Clan members. That this dude, I'll tell you, man, he hasn't done much outside of the DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia. Those are deals that kind of fell in his lap because Ayton wanted to be here, right? LaRavia wanted to be here. He was out here kicking it with Austin. So it's not like he's been able to put in the footwork to go and sign a legitimate free agent, right? We're hearing that, you know, free agents are choosing teams like mediocre teams at that, like the Clippers, Bradley Beal. He hasn't agreed to a buyout yet, but we're hearing he is likely to go there. We're hearing, you know, other players like Horford likely Golden State or retirement, maybe even Denver. I don't like that. Sets a bad precedent. We have a rich owner now, or we're about to have one come December. We have great recruiting players, even though LeBron hasn't been really involved. But we got Luka there. You know, part of the reason DeAndre Ayton chose the Lakers was Luka. We have enough to be able to land elite free agents. Why aren't we doing it? I have to look at Rob. I have to look at Jeanie. I have to look at the people that should be going overtime to get these people in, at least for a meeting, right? Let's see. If Rob gets replaced while Jeanie is there, then we'll for sure know. Well, for sure, the degree of the control she has, definitely the face, but to what extent? Well, again, she already wasn't making any major decisions, right? It says here Jeanie has historically not been involved in personnel decisions. Essentially, that's been Rob Pelinka. She's been trusting him. So, again, this shouldn't affect any roster building. However, it's still going to be interesting to see what happens next several months. But we should start seeing gradual changes, if that's what you're implying, right? Un cambio, that's right, a change. We need it. Appreciate you, Kimmy Goat. Saludos, shout out Guatemala, brother. Good to see you, man. They saying Beal wants to be a Laker and it's some other stuff that needs to be worked out. I heard Clippers, but if Beal comes to the Lakers, that'll be a good acquisition off the bench. You know? Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me, JoJo. So it's called Primetime TV. If Kimmy Go can please post a link so you guys can follow. I will actually be going live probably like 30 minutes after this video. Got a very important podcast to do over there for my first episode of the summer. So yeah, if you guys are interested in podcasting past sports, you know, Beyond Sports is going to be the podcast for you. And I will be putting, you know, out very important topics, some fun topics. Today will be a very important topic. I want to talk about immigration and my people that are suffering right now. So I feel like I got to be a voice for the community. They've been asking me for a while to make this. So I had to do my research properly to, you know, come out with a podcast episode. We'll be live. A lot of things coming to that channel over there. So again, make sure you guys follow. If Kimmy Go can please post a link, that would be awesome. It's called Primetime TV. Also, if you go to my main channel, it's the second channel that's featured here on the channel. So you can definitely tap in. But here it is for everybody who's wondering. We'll be going live probably 30 minutes after this video ends. I was supposed to go at 1:30, but then we got the news about Jeanie Buss still being controlling owner of the Lakers for the next 5 years. And I had to do it, right? Hey, what up, Jess? Scott, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Hey, it is an absolute pleasure, my brother. So, yeah, for those of you just tuning in, she will be, okay, Jeanie Buss sign an agreement upon her sale where it's a stipulation that she'll remain the team's governor for at least the next 5 seasons. Does this concern you guys? Is it a non-issue like it is for me? How you guys feel about that? I would love to know. Also, got to talk about LeBron James. Because per Jovan Bua, shout out to him, LeBron James' relationship with the Lakers front office is not the best place right now. But even I could have told you that just by seeing the fact that he didn't tweet out about the sale. The fact that he hasn't been involved, the fact that Rich Paul came out and made those comments. I could have told you that LeBron James and the Lakers aren't in good standing, and it is crazy, man. And I don't understand. I don't understand where this is going or what the resolution is. But apparently, the Lakers aren't very happy with LeBron either, right? So again, the lack of moves plus all this, it seems to be a strained relationship, right? Fractured relationship between LeBron and the Lakers. Again, Jovan Bull noted that the lack of fanfare when LeBron opted into his contract player option is unusual for a player of his stature, and it may signal tension. He also mentioned how it's not at the best place. He doesn't think it's in the best place right now, pointing out mutual passive aggressiveness with both sides subtly expressing discontent. So this could be headed for a divorce, guys. We've been talking about this all summer. It could literally be headed for a divorce. Let's see. JoJo says, bro, another thing. Every year you grade the players after the season is over. You didn't do it this year. I did actually, JoJo. I did do it. Make sure you look for it. It's there. The grades are there. I did it a week after. I didn't do it right away because I was upset about the way we got swept again, or gentlemen swept or whatever. But I did it a week after, and it's there. It's in the videos. The grades, the season grades for this year are there. So make sure you check out the lives. You might have to scroll back past this month because it's a while back ago. But I did. It's there. Yeah, I do it every year, like you said, and this year was no different. It's a two-way street. The Lakers always have press releases about the fact that LeBron picks up his player option and all that, but this time they didn't, which is extremely odd. Yeah, again, this is heading into a weird era for sure. This is really heading into like a weird potential breakup, if you could say that. I know we use those for relationships, but this is in a sense a relationship, and so yeah, I don't know, man. Bro needs to stop whining and either ask out or get to work. Well, that's what we Laker fans say. That's what we like. We like it straight up. We don't like it beat around the bush. But it's a new era, man. This is the mouthpiece era where players use their agents to speak for them. And that's what has happened here. I think essentially Rich Paul has said, bolster up the roster or else, right? I'm not mad at anything, man. Honestly, I just want to see how it plays out. I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to sit here and slander either the Lakers front office or LeBron. I just kind of want to see where this is going, right? That's what I want to see. I think the simple reality is that the Lakers seem content to punt this year, but LeBron does not want to do that, and that's caused friction. I heard another report today to talk about. Look, I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you this, bro. I feel if this offseason persists and remains this way, the Lakers don't want to punt the season away, but they want to punt LeBron away. And I think they're waiting for him to request a trade because he has a no-trade clause. They can't go and trade him. So essentially, they didn't offer him a contract extension. They didn't announce him re-signing. It's been extremely weird. Everything's been weird, man, this offseason. And it seems to me like they want to move on from LeBron, but LeBron still wants to have control over the franchise and decide what they trade and when they trade. And the Lakers want no part of that. So therefore, maybe the Lakers will make minimal moves, and the big move will come trading LeBron. Maybe that'll be their biggest move, unfortunately, right? But that's what it's starting to look like the more and more we go into this offseason. Like the Lakers are done, I think I read that one. My guy, Dyer, what's up, fam? He said, not news, but also Aiden said he received a text from Luka, but nothing from LeBron yet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Die Hard, he has not been involved all offseason long. And that is very telling. That's very telling to where this could be headed for sure. The relationship, the way things ended with Dorian as well being messy. I don't like Rob Pelinka. I'll tell you that, bro. He's very polarizing. He makes us happy with the Luka trade, and then we get nothing afterwards. So it is what it is, man. He said, I love how people want to be mad at LeBron when the front office has been terrible since before Kobe retired. Well, the thing is, I wouldn't say since before Kobe retired. I'll say since Dr. Buss passed. We haven't been the same. It was an extremely high standard, to be honest, and we haven't been able to live to half of that. Hopefully this new Mark Walter era will be different. That's all I can say. But yeah, you're right about one thing. Laker fans are upset with LeBron for one reason, though. His passive aggressiveness and subliminal stuff. We would prefer that if he would want to trade, he would come out and say it. Like when Kobe said, do something and do it now, and then he requested a trade. right? We like that better. We like honesty. We're real here in Los Angeles. We're all about reality, and we like that. We don't like Rich Paul coming out, putting out a statement about they're going to do what's in best interest of their client and this, and that. Like, bro, like, you're LeBron James. You know, you can do whatever you want. If that's requested trade, if that's walk via free agency, whatever it is, you can do it. You know, I think we kind of just want clarity. Liz says, I saw this coming. Liz is done with LeBron. Liz wants no part of LeBron. Dan, I think Pelinka is unhappy with the new owner. Probably. I think the new owner is unhappy with Pelinka. I think we're all kind of unhappy to a certain degree with Pelinka. He kind of bought himself 9 more lives with the Luka Doncic thing, but to be honest, he's running out of lives quickly. He'll lose about 6 of those 9 lives here in one off season if he can't put together a decent one. He might even lose LeBron, like I already said. Right? So what's going to happen? I think that's the question we all want answered by the end of this offseason. We don't want to go into, you know, into the I think LeBron expected to get another one +1, and he was surprised to see that it probably wasn't on the table. Yeah. I think the Lakers did this for LeBron. They said, look, man, we want to compete too. You know, we're going to go get Luka, though, for the future and for now. I think the Lakers were disappointed in the outcome of the playoffs, and so now they want to pivot in a different direction. That's what I think. But again, I don't make no excuse for this front office. They've had plenty of missteps. And I don't make no excuse for LeBron James either, because he's had some help. We haven't necessarily got the team to put him over the top over the last couple of years, but it's not like he's been playing with scrubs, you know, Anthony Davis, Luka, you know, Austin Reeves over the years, KCP, Kuzma, different really good players. So we've had our fair share of good. Injuries have impacted, you know, some of the outcomes. You know, premature trades and poor trades, like the one for Russell Westbrook, have impacted some of these yearly outcomes. But one thing is for sure, man, this Laker front office, they need to find a direction. And once they find that direction, they stick to it. Regardless of what we, the fans, say or not, they got to stick to a plan and move forward. My guy said Laker fans are ungrateful and don't want to blame the front office. I wouldn't say that. Laker fans are very grateful. I think LeBron fans are ungrateful of what the Lakers have done for him, because we've done a lot. We have mortgaged a lot of the future. We've traded a lot of young talent. We've brought in some of his best buds. You know, we didn't hire the coach he wanted in Ty Lue. That's one of the things we didn't do. You know, there's been some things we haven't done, but I think everywhere LeBron has gone, there has been somewhat of a power struggle at the top. Saw with Pat Riley, saw it with Dan Gilbert. Now we're seeing it with the Lakers. At some point, you know, LeBron fans have to realize that LeBron also isn't the easiest person to deal with. You know, it's not, you can't fully just blame every front office you go to and think they're always the problem, right? LeBron's a great generational talent. We're always going to be grateful for what he did here. Maybe his jersey will hang from the rafters one day. I have no problem with that. I don't know about a statue, but jersey for sure. But to call us ungrateful just because we're not happy with the way things are being handled, it's a little player fan-ish, you know, to be honest. Laker front office has been ass since before Kobe left. You were a lottery team before. Bron made y'all relevant. See, this is the disrespect I'm talking about. We've always been relevant, right? This is ignorance, and ignorance is bliss. The Lakers will never not be relevant. That's one thing we're not the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're terribly mistaken. And if LeBron fans came here thinking that, you know, it was going to be, oh, we're going to bend over backwards and take it up the tailpipe with LeBron. No, the franchise will always be bigger than any player. And at this point, you're just trolling. And so I'm going to have to escort you right up, because that's crazy talk. That we're irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. Lottery teams, everybody can be a lottery team, man. Even the great San Antonio Spurs with the great Popovich have been a lottery team. Every team is going to hit that era. It happens, you know, when your players get old or injured or both in Kobe Bryant's case. And, you know, you got the money tied up, right? Here's the thing, right? LeBron fans have to also realize one thing. If LeBron really, really, really wanted to compete, he's a billionaire. He could have taken a pay cut and give us more financial flexibility. I don't blame him, though, because probably he doesn't trust the front office. So to me, there's blame to go both ways. You can't fully put the blame in one person's plate. You got LeBron fans saying Laker fans are ungrateful and we should bend over backwards and kneel to LeBron. And then you got Laker fans saying LeBron should get the fuck out of here. And, you know, he didn't deserve to be a Laker and this and that. Those are two extremes. How about we meet in the middle? We meet in the middle here, right? And we're on, let's be honest. On this channel, I'm all about honesty. And the honest truth is that LeBron is a generational talent. We're lucky to have him. However, he's also lucky to have had us. We did a lot of what he wanted. Now that he doesn't have that power anymore, it's going to be, we could be headed towards a divorce, and that's fine. No, Rob Pelinka hasn't been the best, but he did put together a championship title team in 2019-2020 with LeBron at the helm, right? Let's be honest, man. Let's be honest here. We can't be extremists. Extremists say what player fans say, and extremists say what LeBron haters say. How about we meet in the middle? I think that's the real truth. The real truth is that there's blame to be thrown both ways. It wasn't perfect, but a lot of the times this is what happens. It starts off beautiful. Everybody talks well about each other. LeBron said, I want my damn respect. The Lakers want their damn respect. He was right about that. We're still going through those conversations, though. What does coming out and say it look like? I'm sure the Lakers have heard from LeBron, and I'm sure they've always heard from him directly. I don't think you need to put it in the newspaper. I doubt that, D-Free. That's speculation. To say they've heard from him directly when his whole career he's been using Rich Paul as a mouthpiece. I think coming out and saying it directly is him at the podium, just like Kobe Bryant. Put it out, put the pressure out publicly, and say you either want to get dealt or you want a championship contender team. You want more. Be honest. Coming out to Rich Paul is just passive aggressiveness. I don't think the Lakers appreciate that, because you're putting pressure on them, but not really. So they can still operate from a place of, Rich Paul did say that he understands what we're doing. So, that's passive aggressiveness. I think we need direct, to be honest. That's what we need. I would think Luka wouldn't like what he did to DFS to lower the DFS value to other owners. I could see pressure to remove Rob just based off of that situation. If that story is true, it is not confirmed yet. This has been rumored. But if that story is true, then Rob absolutely deserves to get fired, because he's going to mess up the Lakers' credibility. For sure. Let's see. I think the playoffs showed the organization just how far off we are from winning the chip. Now they are ready for a different direction. And that could be true as well. But again, this year is going to be very telling of who's running the franchise, how they're running it, and how excited we should be, depending on what happens this offseason, the regular season, and so on and so forth. And also what's going to happen with LeBron, right? There's going to be speculation. LeBron doesn't want there to be speculation. I call cap. I think LeBron wants this publicity for sure. Otherwise, he would have came out and addressed it. He did say, go pop 4th of July firecrackers. It's like, bro, come on, man. You've been stirring the pot, talking about your retirement through commercials, talking about, not being happy, and, Rich Paul coming out making a statement. Let's be honest, that's attention I think you want, and I'm fine with that. But I would prefer straight up. The Laker fans blame the front office all the time, but the way LeBron handles things, being passive-aggressive, is annoying and got old fast. Exactly. And I think there's a happy medium. We're not happy with the front office. Well, I don't think a lot of Laker fans are happy with LeBron either. And let's be honest, he has kind of brought that on himself, because you can get away with that. You can get away with all of that stuff, the diva personality and all of this and all of that in Cleveland, because they were desperate for a chip. But even there, Dan Gilbert had enough. And he said, hey, we're not trading the 7th overall pick. Ended up being Colin Sexton, nothing major. But I'm going to put my heels down here. And Pat Riley did the same. Put his heels down, and LeBron walked. So regardless of whatever happens, guys, I'm grateful for what LeBron did. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and slander him. Do we like some of his antics? No, absolutely not. But I am grateful. I'm not going to, once he leaves, I'm not going to say, good riddance. I'm not one of those fans. But I will say, well, I am excited for the new chapter. I'm always excited for the new chapter. Always. You got to be. Bron is so used to having his way ever since he was a teenager. He has to deal with the harsh reality of knowing that he doesn't have pull like that anymore. Yeah. I think the last big favor we did for LeBron was drafting his son. Before that, it was bringing Anthony Davis here, who he wanted, and all that worked out. But I think that was the last favor they did for LeBron. I don't think there'll be no more favors moving forward. Right? No one is more obnoxious than a LeBron fan. I beg to differ. I had to deal with Russell Westbrook fans, and they are the absolute worst. I know some really cool LeBron fans. Shout out to them. But I think any player fan can be a real toxicity, because they speak with their heart, not with their mind, right? The guy was like, Lakers weren't relevant. That's not a fact. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't. You got to speak the facts. No, the Lakers always been relevant. Without LeBron, after LeBron, through LeBron, around LeBron, with LeBron, they're always going to be irrelevant. It's the Lakers, baby. You must be confused. You must be confusing us with Cleveland. Yeah, that's what I think it is, bro. I think LeBron fans for sure are always going to be ungrateful to whatever franchise. I didn't see them slander Pat Riley in Miami, Cleveland Cavaliers, and now the Lakers. So if you slander the Lakers, then you really don't care about this brand, the greatest brand in basketball. Then there's no team that can fit your favorite player's brand. You might as well have started your own team, LeBron, and call it the LeBrons. If that's the case, the Lakers will always be bigger than the player, no matter what. The Lakers should not have to bend to LeBron every command. Didn't even do that for Shaq and Kobe. And they won't. And the Lakers will not. The Lakers appeased LeBron as far as they can go. Whatever LeBron wants. Maybe this is why you're seeing a very inactive free agency. Like D. Free said. He said, we're punting the season. Historically, the Lakers have never punted a season. But maybe they're waiting for LeBron to request that trade. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's the big move they're waiting for. That's what I'm thinking. Well, I just want a contending team this year, which I'm sure is what fans and Luka wants. That's the problem here? No, that's not the problem. For me, it's more so, okay, you have Luka. We got DeAndre Ayton. He's not really involved. He wants a contending team, but he didn't opt out to help make it a contending team, right? So that you can't have your cake and eat it too. You opted into the $54 million. Well deserved. I don't have no problem with that. But then to use your agent as a mouthpiece and to not really, to not really come out and be direct and be unhappy when you're getting paid the maximum is pretty hard. It's pretty hard, man. Look, it's not like he's by himself on a team. He has Luka. Not that he asked for it, but he has Luka. Austin, who had a borderline all-star season. We just got DeAndre Ayton, right? I'm not saying I'm happy with this roster, but I'm saying if he's not happy with the roster, he can always demand a trade. Either that or he could have opted out and chose to sign, a much smaller deal to give us more cap flexibility. Either if he would have did that and then the Lakers did nothing, now you're looking at the front office like it's fully their fault. And now you're looking at LeBron like, poor LeBron, trade him or whatever. They did him dirty. We haven't done him dirty. We're paying him his money, his maximum salary. We drafted his son. For LeBron fans to say that we have done LeBron dirty, it's not true. It is not true at all. We have given him almost everything he wanted. We didn't give him Ty Lue, but everything else, AD, Russ, multiple friends on his team, his son. How many franchises would have drafted his son for him? Right? Just saying. We've given him a lot of what he wants. It's not like we haven't given him nothing and done nothing, right? It's not like we haven't done nothing for him. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you, Reese. Thank you for being a member, brother. Appreciate you. So the story is basically Jeanie Buss will be, at the top, the commander-in-chief for the next 5 years, at least as far as being the face of the franchise moving forward. That was the stipulation in the contract, all right, for those of you just tuning in, which I'm completely fine with because she doesn't really make any major decisions anyways. And I believe Mark Walter will be pulling strings from behind the scenes, right? And that's all it is. I think most Laker fans feel that LeBron's antics every offseason, there's always a storyline revolving around him. But to be honest, I'm not tired of it because it's La La Land. It's kind of par course for the taking, right? There's always going to be some drama in Lakerland, always. We're the number one storied franchise, so there's going to be something always there, And so, again, I don't blame any of the two. I just think both of them could, if you really want to put the blame, is both parties have equal blame to me. He used Rich, but he has also said it directly. He also said many of times in post-game interview that the team doesn't have X, Y, or Z throughout his career and gets criticized for needing help. I don't criticize him for needing help. Every team, every megastar has help. Look at Curry. He just got Jimmy Butler, and nobody criticized him, even though he's overpaid. And now they're looking to make more moves this offseason. So every superstar for sure. Every superstar for sure, man. And they're always going to have help, bro. It's nothing new there. I think it's casual talk, Jeanie has been involved. She stopped Ty Lue and Turner. Well, that's not going to be the case anymore, man. Again, you pay $10 billion, you can bet your ass that person right there is going to be pulling the strings, right? But I appreciate your appetizer. Thank you so much. So many good comments here today, man. He said, no way you want a contending team when your son should be on a two-way at best. That is a good point. I'm not saying Bronny should be on a two-way. I think he is an NBA talent. I think he'll continue to showcase that. But last year he was a two-way at best. So you're right. That's another good point. It's like it's kind of hypocritical to say my team's not good enough. And you got dead weight players that really couldn't get no minutes like Bronny last year, right? So, again, I don't really care. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to sit here and hate on LeBron. It is what it is. But, I am going to defend the Lakers franchise when they say we took advantage of LeBron or, when they try to play victim. It's not true, man. The Lakers organization operates from a very classy standpoint. We did a lot of what LeBron wanted. He helped us to a title, so very grateful for that. But it might be time to move on, and that's okay too. We don't have to be messy and ugly. It could be peaceful and mutual agreement. I would be cool with that, right? Exactly. He could have realistically thought the Lakers would be contenders after he opted in, and with the assets they have, he should take his money he deserves. But he knows the Lakers won't be top notch. And here's the thing, right? That's not an excuse for the Lakers front office also not to act and to sit on their hands. I'm not happy with that either. But it would make a lot of sense if they're doing this because they want LeBron out. They want that to be the main trade that sets them out for the future, right? That gives them back some solid key pieces, maybe even a draft pick. Who knows what LeBron could pull back. But maybe that's what they're waiting for. Maybe they've had enough. And we'll see. Again, I think this offseason and this entire season will be must-see TV, right? Yeah, I really think the worst thing he could have done was to say he would do the cap cut last year. It set an expectation when in reality, it's not like he's overpaid as the 13th highest salary. And it's not about his value. We know what LeBron's value is. It's off the scales, right? The monies that teams make off of having LeBron on the team is astronomical. So we're talking about bang for your buck, you get it with LeBron. But it's more about the cap flexibility. It's like if you really, 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 really want to win, you'll pull a Tim Duncan type deal. Something like that, right? Timmy D. They've absolutely done a lot of things for him, but I just can't gloss over the fact that I think they seriously wasted 2 years of his career saving assets, but you get rewarded with Lucas. So, yeah, I mean, the Lakers have never operated from a stance of being desperate to maximize one specific player's career. That might have happened in Cleveland, might have happened in Miami, not really in Miami, but they operate for what's best for the Lakers long term, always. And I like that about us because we are team first. We've never been player first, right? Like I said, and I said it many times, when Kobe requested a trade, I would have stayed here as a Laker fan, even though I love Kobe. I would have wished him the best and rooted for him individually when he's not playing us. But, at the end of the day, this franchise and these fans are loyal to the name on the front of the jersey over any back of the jersey. And I think that's where LeBron is going to get rebutted because I think he wants all the attention. I think LeBron's the type of player that he wants to be beloved even more so than the franchise. And that's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, LeBron. And when he got here, he was met with some resistance already right off the top. But I think a lot of people thought there was going to be ugly situations like these, right? Where Laker fans never want to feel like you don't want us 100%. We always want to feel like, because we're spoiled. That's just a fact. The same way LeBron is spoiled, Laker fans are spoiled. We always want the best, and we want the best to want us at all times. The moment we feel you don't want us anymore, that's what Laker fans do. Deuces. And then this finger drops off, and then it could turn into the middle finger, right? Not me. But I'm just telling you how Laker fans operate. And it's not that they're ungrateful, it's that why would we want you if you don't want us? You know what I mean? It just becomes that kind of a thing. So I hear you. They've absolutely done a lot, but they play devil's advocate. There's a long list of things that they have done as well that you wanted, like retaining Caruso or Dudley. Facts. And one thing about the Lakers is they're never going to do everything you want. I think LeBron found that out the hard way, and he's finding that out when we traded his good friend Anthony Davis. You think that made LeBron happy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the Lakers are royalty, man, and you do not command royalty around. Royalty might be good enough to be gracious enough to do some of the things you want, but royalty will not bend the knee ever. And again, grateful for LeBron. The Lakers spoil us a lot. I'm grateful for the Lakers, but there has to be a happy middle. Both deserve criticism if we're being honest. None of them are perfect. LeBron's not perfect. He's done some very questionable things throughout his career, and the Lakers are not perfect. They've done some very questionable things throughout the stint that LeBron is here. Part of the reason we only have one championship, right? So again, that's what it is, man. We're gonna call a spade a spade. What excuse, John? Just because you don't like what I had to say doesn't make an excuse. Oh no, D Free is speaking from a place of knowledge. Definitely, we respect D Free's opinions around these parts for sure. But again, even my opinion is just an opinion, right? It is an opinion. Now, a lot of opinions are based on facts to make them factual opinions, but they're opinions. You know, I've been a lifelong Laker fan for, again, 27 plus years, and I've seen it all. I've seen all the drama. I've seen the divorces. I've seen the fights between Shaq and Kobe. I've seen when we traded Lamar away, and that Lamar Odom trade didn't happen. I've seen the ugliness of how he didn't want to be here anymore. He got flipped to Dallas, and it ruined his career, right? I didn't see Pau Gasol get traded. I didn't see it all, right? So the franchise will operate in what's in his best interest for itself, for sure. Again, and I don't think it has to be ugly. It really doesn't. It could just be what it is. Why can't I just be a kid again when we had zero access to Lakers news and rumors and we just look forward to Lakers game nights? I don't know, Randolph. I like access to Lakers news and rumors. I think that makes it very exciting. We would not be here talking if we didn't have that. So actually, I like that, bro. He said, John, I get what you're saying, but the front office could always say, no, there's pressure to do what your top players are wanting to, though. I think the season after Jeanie got into it with LeBron, I think, you know, the little passive-aggressive comments in the, you know, postseason when they asked LeBron if he felt like we needed another big, and he said he wasn't going to comment because we all saw what happened to AD. I don't think that rubbed the Lakers front office the right way. I think from that moment on, they said, you know what? We drafted your son, and there's the things we get. Okay. Because you know what it is? I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, man. You ever seen rich people fight? Let me give you an example. Elon Musk and Donald Trump. They're both entitled assholes, and they're fighting like they're right, both of them. And that's what happens when rich people fight. They're both going to be stubborn, and none of them are ever going to be wrong. So what happens is you can't find a happy medium, and sometimes you can't find a solution, and it leads to an ugly divorce. When poor people fight, there's a lot of humility there because usually poor people are more humble than rich people. Rich people, they want to be right all the time. They know what their value is, what their worth is, and they feel like they're better than everybody, including other rich people. So this, to me, this reminds me of rich people fights, man. Like LeBron James, always been right his whole career in his mind. Rich Paul glazes him, all his fan base, everything. So he thinks he's always right. Same thing with the Lakers. Lakers are the Lakers. They're going to think they're always right. So now you got LeBron making passive-aggressive comments. Now you got Rich Paul coming out here. Did you expect a 1+1? There's your 1+1. All right, 1+1, Bronny plus LeBron James. There's your 1+1. All right, we will do you no more favors, LeBron, simply because you're not grateful for what we've done for you. That's what they're thinking. I'm not saying that's true. That's what they're thinking. LeBron's thinking, shit. The same thing his player fans are thinking. They're not grateful for what I've done. You know, so I think there can be delusion in both parties if we're being honest. Instead of coming together and say, look, man, this is what I want. If you can't help me, then please, I would love a trade. And just be straight up with it. No, we're going to beat around the whole bush. We're going to do the finger-pointing game, and we're going to do the let's see who blinks first because they'll be the bad guy. LeBron probably don't want to come out here publicly and request a trade because he'll become a bad guy in the eyes of many Laker fans. Not me, but many will turn on him. He doesn't want to do that again. He doesn't want to do what happened in Cleveland again, probably. He will do it if he has to, but, you know, I think LeBron is trying to angle himself to make it look like it was all our fault, which is fine with me. And same thing with the Laker front office. They're probably trying to angle themselves to make it look like, look, we gave him everything he wanted. So again, to me, this is a rich people fight. They're both wrong and they're both right, but neither of them are going to see it in, you know. Yeah, it goes both ways, I think, guys. I think both are at fault here. He said Brunson took less money and didn't win. That's a bad part of taking less money. Right. That's true. You're absolutely right. There's always a risk. That's why I don't blame LeBron for taking his money. But again, there's going to be consequences to that, right? You take full money, not the flexibility. Lakers are good. Their excuses. We got the under 8 and we got the big. Y'all was lacking. No more excuses, right? LeBron's going to be like, well, we need more, right? So again, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. But we'll be here to break it down, guys. And I don't want you guys fighting. There's going to be, again, these are all basketball opinions. Opinions at the end of the day are just opinions, right? But I do believe that two wrongs doesn't make one right. I think both have fault in this whole situation. I think the Lakers have fault. They didn't get the proper big men or the proper role players. They let Alex Caruso go. They traded for Russ. They hired the wrong coach. All of that, that's their fault. LeBron's side, he pulled the strings. We got the free agents that were clutch free agents. We let Rich Paul really have his meat hooves in the Lakers. We traded for people he wanted, including Anthony Davis. We did things he wanted. We drafted his son. And, that is the opposite opinion. It's like, okay, meet in the middle. Let's see. JoJo says Kobe gave everything to the Lakers, so Kobe deserved every dollar he got. All LeBron did since he got here is make trades and fire coaches. Well, that's just the thing, JoJo. We can't blame LeBron for all of that either, because LeBron had influence in some of this stuff, but influence versus final decision, at the end of the day, the final choice fell on the front office's plate, right? So I'm trying to give you guys some objectivity here. LeBron didn't run the Lakers from the moment he got here. The Lakers always been run by the Lakers, but what the Lakers did is they tried to appease LeBron to keep him happy here. That's a tall order. So a lot of things we did were guided by trying to keep LeBron happy here. At the end of the day, though, right, the fall guy is going to be the front office because they're the ones that made the moves, right? So, yeah. But, again, I think there's blame both parties. Honestly, just think it's best to trade LeBron, get whatever assets we can, and LeBron can have a better chance to win. Both sides get something. That could be true. I'm here for it, though, man. If it does happen, we'll be first to break it. Again, very excited for the offseason, regardless of us making limited moves, because the biggest move could just be that one. Right? John says, I think LeBron is more at fault if he asked for Westbrook, who's saying no. You can say you would all you want, but do you really have a choice? Yeah, the Lakers do have a choice. This divorce could have happened earlier if the Lakers said no when they saw things were spiraling out of control. For sure. The Lakers already said no to Ty Lue. So they've said no to LeBron before. And again, it's all about not stepping on each other's toes. I don't think the Lakers wanted to step on LeBron's toes, but at the same time, LeBron damn sure better not step on the Lakers' toes, because now you're seeing now you're seeing what's going on. It's heading towards an ugly divorce, and so again, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I have love for both parties. Of course, my loyalty will always lie with the Lakers first, primarily. But I also have love for LeBron because LeBron did come here and help reestablish us. Not make us relevant again, because we've always been relevant, but help reestablish us back to winning. Now, the winning has been minimal. It's been one championship. A lot of people will discredit the one championship because it happened in 2020 during, the bubble. But I will never discredit a championship where the competition was insanely stiff and everybody was just focused on basketball. But again, a lot of people will look at the LeBron Laker era as a failure because they expected more, especially after mortgaging so many assets, right? But anyways, guys, that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much. This is a great topic of conversation. We're going to have many more debates, many more conversations. And I think, both people can be right and both people can be wrong. And, we live to see another day. At the end of the day, we want the Lakers to improve regardless of if LeBron stays or goes. I think that's something that we can all commonly agree to, right? Otherwise, you're not a Laker fan. If you don't want the Lakers to improve and get better and try to compete for a title, are you really a Laker fan, right? So, but again, that is going to wrap it up for me. If you guys are interested in my podcast, Beyond Sports, where I will be talking movies, TV, pop culture, politics, everything goes. Relationship, all that. Make sure you guys tap in, all right? And you know what, JoJo? I may go live this Friday and have you guys come in here and we can go back and forth. Phone call Fridays are a thing. So maybe this Friday we'll bring back phone call Fridays if we get enough requests. All right, JoJo? But if you guys did like the video, please make sure you guys tap in. Hit that like button, subscribe. Video brought to you by Underdogs and Prize Picks promo code DTL. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys all for contributing to this wonderful channel. I will see you guys hopefully on my second channel in about 30 minutes. All right. Enjoy. Peace.